utopian for one reason, because this video is going to be about a very serious subject, which I think a lot of you know about. I'm referring, of course, to Genesis 6. In verse 2 it says that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives, of all which they chose. And in verse 4 it says, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And then in verse 5 it says, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continuing. And this has to do with when Noah was building the ark. And basically what this synopsis is about is Satan wanted to create a new human race, and he basically had the option, which nobody knows why, to use his demons to have sex with women, humans, and these were what were called the giants. Now there's an actual name for this race of people. It's called the Nepholyns. The Nepholyns. And during the period of time that Noah was building the ark, all of this was happening. And in verse 5 it says, and every imagination of the thoughts of their hearts were only evil. And if you look at our world today, people are fatalistic about everything. They have a viewpoint that they can't be killed or hurt by people. That's why on YouTube you got all these different videos that they're posting about people climbing up 1,000-foot chimney towers in Romania and doing all kinds of things that seem ludicrous, because fatalism is becoming more a part of people's conscious awareness now. It's not an option anymore to say that some people are sadistic and then others aren't, because it's becoming pretty much widespread all over the world. And a friend of mine was telling me something I'd never heard before, that through genetics Satan has created another Nephilim race of humans. And this time, they're not just creating supermen. They're mingling other kinds of DNA and genetics together. Humans, demons, and animals. And I think that's why there's this push for homosexuality, because they figure the more of them there are, the less chance you can see how Satan is perverting the race itself. And the point I'm trying to say in this video is that Satan tried the same idea also in 1944, 1943, when Adolf Hitler was doing experimentation on Jews in the concentration camps. We've got evidence beyond evidence that he was using his position to try and really to first eliminate the Jewish gene out of people, eradicate them, and then also he wanted to create an Arian race, which was a superior type of genetically altered human being. So Satan was working even in the 40s, since that period of time. Now we have all this kind of technology that exists in our world today, and it makes no sense. How can how can things happen the way they are? And it's like, well, maybe this is why there's an overemphasis about superiority of women, that they are being convinced at a very young age that they can do anything they want to, and Satan is using it to his advantage to kind of make women think, well, I can make a child through my demons that will be superior to any human being that's ever lived, because they'll be superior physically and mentally too. And through genetics, they can probably even go farther than that. And it's not science fiction that genetics exists already in this world. It exists because mankind has progressed to a level where he can't control his own technology anymore. He can't control his own science, because now Satan is going to use it. He is using it for his own benefits. And he's creating this Nephilim society as we speak. Now in Revelation, I found this Bible verse in chapter 9. Or it could be chapter 8, I think. But it has to do with, it is chapter 9. Verse 6 says, "And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them." Now what does that mean? I think it means that once you take the mark of the beast, the next stage of it is that the mark of the beast will actually physically change your DNA. And it means that whatever science and whatever Satan is developing as far as this Nephilim or Nephilim culture, this race is going to have the advancement to alter people to the point where they'll have immortality. And if you laugh, well, if you look at science, there's nothing that's inconceivable anymore. People can do anything they want. People can kill unborn babies now and harvest their body parts, and through genetics and through all the kind of manipulation of DNA, they can do anything. So who can say that stem cell research is the limitation of what they're trying to do with fetus body parts? They could be doing all kinds of research to find out what else is in it. And I think beyond immortality, a lot of people speculate that the Nephilim will have the ability also to have supernatural powers, because of course if you're the result of a genetic alteration between a fallen angel, a demon, and a human being and whatever else genetics can create, I mean, who can say what the potential is for a human being by the time that the Antichrist shows up? He's going to say, look at all this stuff we've created, and it's all for your taking if you just take that mark on your hand or your head. And when I heard all of these things, it just blew my mind that such a thing could happen, that it is happening. And then you look at all the evidence around us, and it's like, it's very real, because all of it points to the same conclusion. We are in the end times. Satan is reconjugating his ideas for the superior race. He can't do it against destroying the lineage of Jesus being born, because that's what he was trying to do, but God stopped him and said, I'm going to annihilate your whole race because I know what you're planning to do. So he took Noah's family and said, they're pure human, and I'm going to save them and eradicate everything else. And that's what was meaning in Genesis 6, that man's thoughts were consistently evil. And that means a lot of things, because today in our society people have no conscience. They have no perception of right or wrong. And those are traits, obviously, of a sadist. A sadist has no regard for human life. And a sadist, I think, is another prospect of what Satan wanted to do when he created human life. Again, they're trying to create something like a Frankenstein monster through this Nephilim society. And I also put to you the idea of this. We know that, though it is a myth, Bigfoot is more than 7 feet tall. Well, if the Bible says that the Nephilyns were giants, who can say that Bigfoot might be a remnant of that experimentation that Satan created during the time when Noah was happening? And that though it can't speak, it very likely be genetically what was his intention. Somehow it survived even after the flood, and it's still out there wandering around. So it's sort of like maybe the government has captured one and said, okay, we've got enough DNA from this thing, we can continue on Satan's Nephilim culture. We can continue that on. And that just made me think, this is serious stuff, okay? But I'm wearing my colobium because I think that when God returns, we're all going to be wearing simple clothes, and that's why I love the colobium, because it's very simple, and it very much humbles you. You are humbled to the point where you would feel like, you are nothing when God stands there in front of you. And I think that's why Muslims even wear what they do, because in homage to Muhammad, they feel like they have to humble themselves and wear the simplest, basic kind of clothing. So in that regard, I would say the Muslims are right, because they see what the perception is, but they're worshiping the wrong God, because Muhammad's not real. He might have been a prophet, he could have been a spiritual leader, but he was not God, and he was not, Allah doesn't exist either. There's only one true God, and that's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I wear this in homage to the fact that I think colobiums, chitans are coming back. They're going to be very much a part of our lives, because if you are humbled to the point where you see each other the same, that is what God wants us to be. Love one another, respect each other. And how better way than to show that you are humble to the point you're wearing one particular kind of clothing, and you're nothing. You are the lowest part of humanity, because you're humbled and you respect how you look and how the people look. And that's why I'm wearing it. So thank you for allowing me to show this video today, and I hope what I've shared is informative and maybe makes you think about what is Satan's plans for the world in the very, very short future.